guys, it is Jen with Mother Time, and it is time for some more Christmas crafting. I have brand new rustic Christmas crafts I cannot wait to show you. So grab yourself a warm hot cocoa, doesn't that sound good right now? And a snuggly blanket. Sit back, relax, and let's get to Christmas crafting. Before I dive into crafting, I need to coffee stain some of the items I'm going to be crafting with today. So I have a bucket of warm water and I'm mixing in some instant coffee granules, just eyeballing it, and a little dash of cinnamon as well, mixing it together until the instant coffee dissolves. So one of the items I'm going to be crafting with today is this snowman that I found at Dollar General for only $3. So instead of dunking him into the coffee and giving him a little bath, I'm just going to almost essentially dry brush some of this coffee stain on him. I don't want him to get too wet, then take forever to dry. So I'm just taking my brush, dipping it into the coffee stain, and then brushing him on. And then I also found by squeezing the fleece on the snowman, also kind of got a little bit, as you can see, I'm kind of squeezing it there, gets out any excess liquid too. So I'm just dry brushing it until I get that primitive rustic look that I'm going for. I also rubbed a little bit of the coffee granules and cinnamon that was on the plate too. I love to do that. I'll grab whatever I have around and just give him a really primitive and rustic look. Once I like the desired look, I'm going to set him aside to dry. I'll get back to the snowman later once he is dry. Next, I have the Santa cap that I found at Dollar General for $1. So I'm going to dunk that in the coffee stain for just a second and then wring it out really well. Now, I normally do my coffee staining in my kitchen, which I've showed you before. So I also will wring it under some water, and I ran it to the kitchen to run it under some water too. I'm in my craft room doing this. So I ran it into the kitchen, ran it under a little bit of water. You can see it takes some of that coffee stain out. I'm also adding a little bit of the coffee stain to the little cotton ball on the top of the hat too. I will set that aside to dry. I also found this stocking at Dollar General that I'm going to coffee stain too. So doing the same thing, dunking it in the coffee stain for just a second, giving it a good wringing it out if you need to. You can also run it under some water until you get that desired look. I also have a piece of fleece that I'm going to be working with today as well. So I'm doing the same thing, dunking in the coffee for just a second, wringing it out until I get the desired look. I like to get my coffee staining done all at once. Now you can even use leftover coffee that you may have in your coffee pot too. I've done that before. I found this gingerbread cookies towel set. It's a set of 2 for just $2, also at Dollar General. And I thought that would be cute. Coffee stain too, so doing the same thing, dunking it in the coffee stain for just a second, wringing it out. You can also run it under some cold water too. And then I'm brushing it lightly with a little bit of cinnamon to give it more of a rustic look as well. Once I'm done with the towels, I'm going to set them aside to dry. And before I continue crafting, it's time to take a little lunch break, and I would kindly like to thank Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough bread, artisanal pastries, and fresh pasta. They partner with small bakers and pasta makers from across the country. You can click on the link in the description below and use code MOTHERTIME to get $30 off your first Wild Grain box plus free croissants in every box. Whether you order the classic, plant-based, or gluten-free box, you get tons of delicious options to choose from. What I also love about Wild Grain is you can build your own box so you never run the risk of getting bored, and they are constantly adding new, seasonal, and limited time items to try. They have cookies, slow fermented cran pecan rolls, olive oil ciabatta, pretzel buns, slow fermented brioche rolls, just to name a few. And the best part, it is freezer to table in 25 minutes or less, so you can enjoy homemade quality sourdough whenever you like. I can honestly say their sourdough is one of the best I've ever had. My family loves it too. We get it all the time. Unlike typical supermarket bread, Wild Grain uses a slow fermentation process that can be easier on your belly, richer in nutrients and antioxidants, and help lower blood sugar spikes. I can't wait for you to try wild grain. You can click on the link in the description below and use code MOTHERTIME to get $30 off your first wild grain box plus free croissants in every box. And again, I would like to thank Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. I'm whipping up slow cooker Italian wedding soup. This is the perfect addition to go with my wild grain sourdough bread. I'm adding chicken broth, spinach, garlic, salt, Italian seasoning, and then I get these mini meatballs that are already cooked and frozen at Wegmans. Makes it so easy. I'm going to mix it all together and then set it on high for a few hours. After a few hours, I'm going to stir in the pasta and let it cook a little bit longer. And finally, it's ready to dive in. This Italian wedding soup is so easy and delicious. And who doesn't love Italian wedding soup? But the best part, you guys, is adding lots of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. You have to go freshly grated and lots of it on top. And this is perfect with a warm slice of sourdough bread. So now I'm going to take this Santa hat that is almost dry and place it on top of this coffee container. Now I was going to use like a round cylinder container at first. That seemed like the best idea, but for some reason I like the shape of this one more. I don't know why. So I'm also going to add a little stuffing just to fill it in a little bit as well. And then I'm going to droop over the top of the hat and hot glue that in place. Look at how cute this is. This is so cute for a centerpiece, on a table, on a shelf, in any Christmas vignette. This turns out so stinking cute. Wait until you see. I'm also going to add a little bit of greenery that I had on hand, and I'm just going to hot glue that along with a rusty bell to the hat as well. If you're inspired to make this too, maybe you have this container or just find something similar that you have on hand, try a cylinder container, whatever works so you can recreate this too. I have this Santa Claus tag, which you can download for free on my blog. I will link it below. And then I'm going to distress it with some Distress Oxide in the vintage photo. I just go over it, adding a little piece of twine. And then I'm just going to put it here next to the greenery and add a little bit of hot glue. And finally, I added a little bit more stuffing to the hat with a little bit of hot glue just to fill out that bottom a little bit more. And look at how cute this turned out. It has the cutest rustic vintage vibes to tuck anywhere in your home for Christmas. Next up, the snowman is dry. So first I'm going to spray the hat with a little bit of spray adhesive and then dust it with some cinnamon and brush the excess off. I spray it with a little bit more of the spray adhesive, dip it even into the cinnamon too, and then brush that excess off to give it a rustic look. Once I'm done with the hat, I'm also going to paint his carrot nose. I'm using folk art in the color cinnamon, one of my favorite fall colors, just to kind of tone it down to give it a rustic look as well. Next, I'm adding another button. I don't know if he was missing a button or if it only came with 2 buttons. So I'm adding a 3rd button from the buttons I have. And then I'm going to take a piece of torn homespun and wrap it around for a scarf. Next, I'm going to add this Holly Jolly tag that you can download for free on my blog. I'm going to distress it with Distress Oxide in the color Vintage Photo, add a little piece of twine, and hot glue it to the snowman. Another cute idea I thought of instead of using the buttons is removing the buttons and adding some rusty bells in place of the buttons. I thought that would look really cute too, but I just kept the buttons here. I'm just tying the scarf in place. I'm going to trim off that excess twine, and then I'm also going to add a little piece of the torn homespun to the hat. Well, I thought I was going to, and then I said, you know what, that's just too much, so I'm going to add a button on top of the hat too. Finally, I was going to add a little sprig of greenery to the scarf or even to the hat, but I love the simplicity. He's just very primitive and rustic, just the way he is. So I'm going to keep it without any greenery. And what a cute makeover to this Dollar General snowman. Next, the stocking is almost dry, and I just loved the stocking for some reason. It was only $1, but it just was giving me vintage Christmas vibes. So I'm adding some stuffing to really fill it out. Then I'm going to add some greens. These greens are just from Hobby Lobby, but you could use whatever greens you have on hand. I'm going to add some bells, a cute little tag, and this is just so pretty to hang anywhere, on a door, on a hook. You don't even have to hang it. It looks really cute tucked next to a basket or even near the tree. So many ways that you can incorporate this into your Christmas decor. I also have this tag that you can download for free on my blog. It says December 25th. I distressed it with Distress Oxide in the color Vintage Photo, and then I added some twine and some bells and added it to the stocking. And look at how cute and simple this turned out. Such a vintage, rustic Christmas decor, and so affordable to make too. Next, I'm going to make peppermint sticks using this wooden dowel. This one is from Ace Hardware. It's 3/4 of an inch. You could find them at even Hobby Lobby too. And then Wayne cut them down for me to be 8 inches. So first I am just painting the ends of the dowels. I'm just using a little bit of paint. I'm even going to sprinkle it with some cinnamon too. Once in a while, I do see wooden dowels in the craft section at Dollar Tree too, so you can check there. I was even considering using the wooden part to the Dollar Tree plungers. You know how much I love crafting with the Dollar Tree plungers, but I decided to use the dowels. So I'm going to get that all painted, dipping it in a little bit of cinnamon too. And then I'm going to add some hot glue. And then here is that fleece that I coffee stained. You can see some of the cinnamon on it too that I sprinkled on. It's dry. I'm going to wrap it with the fleece. Now you could even use drop cloth. You could use muslin. You could use any fabric. I'm going to show you another idea too after I show you this version. So I'm just wrapping it with the fleece. And then I'm going to also wrap it with some torn homespun too. So I'm just wrapping it tightly around the wooden dowel and then hot gluing it and then trimming off the excess fabric. And I like to work in sets of 3 because I'm going to make a little peppermint stick bundle. So I'm going to finish off the other 2 doing the same thing, adding some hot glue, wrapping it in the fleece, and then trimming off the excess fabric. Next, to make the peppermint swirl, I'm using a piece of torn homespun that I cut about a 1/2 inch thick, adding a little dab of hot glue to the top of the dowel, and then I'm going to wrap the homespun around the dial diagonally till I get to the bottom of it, and then add a little dab of hot glue to attach it and trim off the excess homespun. I wanted to distress these even more to give them a primitive look, so I sprayed it with a little bit of spray adhesive, and then I'm going to dust it with a little bit of cinnamon, brush that excess off, and then once I like the desired look, I will spray it with some more spray adhesive. Once they're all done, I'm going to bundle them together and wrap them with some twine. I'm also going to add a tag that you can download for free on my blog that says peppermint sticks. I forgot to distress the tag, so I'm going to go back in just a second and do that. I'm also adding a rusty bell, and then I will get out my vintage photo, distress oxide, and distress the tag. And then I also add a little bit of a baby wipe to help distress the tag too. Then I'm going to tie that twine into a bow, and I love the long tails on this. I just think this looks so pretty. You can tuck this anywhere. You can put it in a bowl. Again, here I am with the greens. I was going to add a little bit of greenery, but I just love the simplicity. So you could add some greenery or not even add any greenery at all. And look at how cute these peppermint sticks turned out. And here's another idea for peppermint sticks, is just using some torn homespun. I have this cut about 1 inch thick. I'm hot gluing it to the top and then wrapping it around the dowel, and then I will attach it at the bottom with some more hot glue, trimming off the excess homespun. And since I like to group things in 3, I'm going to do 2 more, doing the same thing, wrapping it with the homespun, attaching it with some hot glue, trimming off that excess homespun, and then I'm going to bundle them together in a group of 3 and attach them together with some twine. I have another tag that you can download for free on my blog that says Jingle Bells. I'm going to distress it using my distress oxide in the color Vintage Photo. Also use a little baby wipe on it too. I'm going to attach it to my peppermint stick bundle on the twine and also add a bell. And here is how the other peppermint stick bundle turned out. So cute and easy. So many different varieties you can make too. Here is the first one I made. Let me know in the comments, which one do you like more? And finally, here are the tea towels that I coffee stained, and you can see the difference between coffee staining them and if you don't coffee stain it. I like to coffee stain it because it gives it that rustic look. And of course you could hang these in the kitchen for Christmas, super cute, but guess what I'm gonna do with this? I am going to turn it into cute little throw pillows. So I just fold the towels in half, and then I'm going to add some hot glue around the edge, leaving a pocket at the bottom, and then I'm going to add some stuffing. And you could even cut the towels in half and use the striped one as the backing, but I like doing it just like this because it's so easy, just folding it in half, then adding the hot glue around the edge, leaving a pocket, then adding the stuffing like I'm doing with this one. I even was going to do like a frayed edge around the edging too, but I like this, super easy. Wait till you see how they turn out. They are so cute. So here is the gingerbread cookies one, and now here's the striped one. So I'm going to do the same thing, add the hot glue around the edge, and then add the stuffing. And I was gonna leave it plain because I usually like to do that. I'm usually pretty simple, just keeping it with that striped coffee stain, but sometimes I am a little extra, And with this one, I'm gonna hot glue on a few sprigs of greenery, added this cute little tag that you can download for free on my blog, and a little bell. And look at how stinking cute these pillows turned out using Dollar General tea towels. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you got some crafting inspo too. Give this video a big thumbs up if it did, and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Mother Time. Check out my blog, mothertime.com, and if you've enjoyed this video and you are not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you click that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Okay you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me here today, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye guys.